For almost 20 years, I have focused on the expression of iconic female beauty in fashion and figurative sculpture. I enjoy exploring the cultural transformation of the nude through dress. In 2009, I became focused on night, and I began to think about the human body in a much larger and more abstract context. I wanted to look at how we interpret the infinite space that surrounds us, how we place ourselves in it and try to find relevance in a largely indifferent universe. In the fields of science and art, I studied how we imprint the human figure on the infinite, thereby translating it into a language we can understand. Nyx, the goddess of night, and all of the constellations that we have mapped over time attempt to anthropomorphize the infinite. I became interested in making female figurations of night. I titled sculptures Nocturnes, and like the musical compositions of Chopin and John Fields, after which they are titled, I focused on atmosphere over narrative. I studied the biological science of night, as well as astronomy. For the first time, I used color in my glass sculptures. I worked with German scientists to create a color and density that would create penumbral garments. I wanted my nocturnal females to rise from a darkened pool, simultaneously emerging from and merging with the night. I sewed the garments myself, choosing fabrics for their texture or how they folded and draped. In my mind, connecting the textures and drapes of fabric with the qualities of light and atmosphere at nightfall. I wanted to wrap the female figure in dusk, exploring both beauty and darkness. I used dressmakers' mannequins to develop my designs. I enjoyed engaging with the lost art of couture and studied designers from all time periods. One of my great discoveries was the Théâtre de la Mode. At the end of World War II, while Paris was in ruins, celebrated artists in the fields of ballet, theater, and haute couture worked together to create a series of fashion figurines that were displayed on theater sets created by contemporary artists like Jean Cocteau. The small scale of the work with its large intention and effect mesmerized me. It was a declaration of the importance of beauty and culture. I titled my works Etudes in keeping with the musical nomenclature, but they are much more than studies for larger works. They celebrate the power of optimism and beauty. I became inspired to install the life-size sculptures in empty theaters, weaving together fashion, theater, and art, as the French project had. I was finally able to do this in the winter of 2016. We worked furiously to install and light the pieces in a very limited window between performances at the Historic Estates Theater in Prague. Unpacking my nocturnes in a theater where Mozart himself performed was a surreal experience, and we were all struck silent when we cleaned up the packing material and saw the moment we had created. I did a second installation at the Litomyshl Castle, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that has one of the last 5 Baroque castle theaters in Europe. It is the only one with complete sets of painted stage designs. The installations remind me of tableaux vivants of the 1800s, a particular form of performance art. Actors are both costumed and nude. They sit completely still. They create a living picture, like this one from 1857. At that time, it was illegal to move if you were nude, but fine to be nude if you were still. My installations are abandoned tableaux vivants. Clothing has taken on the forbidden sensuality of the body. Fabric has become flesh. I feel a resonance between the emptiness of the dresses, the empty theaters, and the empty darkness of night. The theaters are antique remnants of the past, which are assiduously preserved as artifacts. Working on their stages reminded me of the uncanny stillness we experience at night, walking in a city devoid of any sign of life. Like a set waiting for its players.